If you don't know what you want most out of life, then it's really hard to know who you really are. And if you don't know who you really are, then it's really hard for other people to feel deeply connected to you. Hi everybody, I'm Greg from Heart Tools, where we make it simple to build great relationships. And in this video, we're going to talk about discovering what is most important to you in life, because it turns out that is a critical component for being a defined human being who other people can feel deeply connected to. The place where I discovered this, strangely enough, was in one of the parables that Jesus taught. And I say strangely enough because at the time, I believed that wanting things strongly would lead to selfishness, and I assumed Jesus did not want me to be selfish. And here was a teaching where Jesus was challenging me to actually want more strongly and more deeply. I shared this story about a year ago in a video about prayer, so I'm not going to unpack the whole thing here. But the key takeaway was that Jesus taught his followers that effective prayer happens when we keep knocking, when we keep asking, we keep searching, and we exhibit what he called a shameless persistence. And really the bottom line, he said, was effective prayer happens when you don't take no for an answer. And as I tried to put that teaching into practice and not take no for an answer, I discovered that most everything I prayed about, I was bored with praying about after a week, and I was perfectly willing to hear no for an answer, and that I really had no idea what I wanted so much in life that I could pray for it every day, day after day, for years, and not take no for an answer and keep praying. And that set me on a journey. And now 20 years later, I have a list of about 10 things that I talk to God about every morning, because I know they are the things I want most out of life. I pray for them because wanting them is a central part of who I am and why I exist. And I will keep talking to God about them every day until either he answers yes or until I die. And what I discovered as a part of this journey, besides how to have meaningful conversations with God every day, is that knowing what you want most in life is a key part of becoming a defined person, which does a lot for you. For example, knowing what you want most in life helps you make better long-term decisions because you're always making them in that context since you know what it is. Knowing what you want most in life helps you see the sense in which your life is a heroic journey. It has real meaning. There's something critical and important to your life. But for our purposes here, as we're talking about creating connection through self-disclosure, knowing what you want most in life will help other people know you and feel connected to you at a much deeper level. The people most important to you will have a sense that they know the real you when you're able to talk about the things that are most important to you. There's a difference between having consistent conversations with someone who has a capacity to talk about things that are deeply meaningful to them, the things they want the most, and people who are only to talk about the weather and stay on that level. In our next video, we're going to go the other direction and talk about what you want most right now, what's stirring in your heart today or this week or this month. Knowing what you want most and knowing what you want now are both important, and they can both lead to very fun, enjoyable conversations. But who you talk to about what you want most in life and who you talk to about what you want right now is probably going to be an overlapping group of people, but not the same group of people. And that's because what we've been talking about appropriate vulnerability, where we start off in the shallow end of the pool, that we talk about low risk things with people we have low trust relationship with. And as trust builds, we go deeper and deeper into the pool till eventually we can talk about high-risk things with people that we have high trust with. And when you talk to people about what you want the most out of life, it's probably going to tend to be in the deeper end of the pool. It's going to be talking to God, talking to your spouse, talking to your support group and best friends and your trusted advisors. And as you go about the process of creating connection with people, it's important to realize not everyone will care about what you want most in life. And it would probably be a little bit egotistical to assume that everyone should care about what you want most in life. And that's okay. You need all kinds of connections and all kinds of friendships in life. You need friendships where what you do is just talk about your favorite sports teams and what's going on with them, or talk about the TV shows and the movies that you're currently into. There is a lot of joy and satisfaction in life that comes from those kinds of connections and those kinds of relationships. So here is what I would suggest for creating connection through the things you want most in life. And that is, when you find someone, you're kind of at the medium depth in the pool that you share some significant things with, and they take you seriously. You can disagree about things and still have a great conversation, right? They're not going to judge you. When you're kind of in that medium depth of the pool with someone, then you can start talking about some of these things that matter most to you, that you want the most. And if you find when you do that that they're disinterested in the conversation, or if you find that they scoff at your dreams, those are people that you do not want to try to get deeper into the pool with, right? But as you share the things that you want most in life and you find that they're interested and you find that they take your dreams very seriously, those are people that it would probably be good to keep self-disclosing and keep building a deeper and deeper relationship with. Now, in a couple of videos, we will talk about how to use your self-awareness of what you want most and what you want now to create good conversations that are a lot of fun. But for now, I want to encourage you, if you haven't done so, just to begin the process of discovering what you want most in life. Now, a good place to begin that journey is in your daily talk with God, as I talked about in the prayer video that I mentioned earlier, and I will link that video in the description to this video in case you might find that helpful. Or if for whatever reason you're not on speaking terms with God at the moment, then I would encourage you just to make a list of the top 10 things that matter with you, and then rank them. Rank the 10 things from most important to least important, and then revisit that list at least once a week for a year and see what falls off the list, what moves up the list, what changes on the list. Because when you know what you want most out of life, other people can feel deeply connected to you, and you can build great relationships. Simple steps, practice, practice, practice. That's what Heart Tools is all about.